What's up, good people? Back for another edition of the Chief and Go. Very special guest today. Now, we're not doing this one live, but very special guest. I got Terrence Cooper, about to chop it up with the OG. Terrence Cooper, more affectionately known as Coop, from one of the guys who helped Backyard to rise to their great success where you see them now. And now he's working with Top 5, but has been behind the scenes for a long time in this culture. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring him on in. Super Cooper.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, bro?
Oh, okay. Keith, what's up, baby?
Ain't too much, man. Ripping and running. Just got up in here and, getting it together.
I like what you're doing, man.
Man, thank you, man. Just try and keep it consistent. Long time coming. I've been talking about it for a long time, and now I gotta just keep that momentum going. And I'm getting a lot of good feedback, so definitely appreciate that. You know what I mean? Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel and keep on watching. We're gonna keep it coming. We're gonna keep it cranking. So it's Friday, y'all, middle of the afternoon. So I know Coop got stuff to do. I got stuff to do, but definitely want to get into this conversation. So I ain't going to jive around it. We've had a couple of talks, and it's always interesting to talk to you. But the other day you said you started around 78. So I just kind of want you to run down, how you came up in the game and stuff you was doing, and we can go through the backyard stuff and Chucky all the way to Top 5. I want to just go.
Okay. So in 1978, I was, telling my age now. So I was 8. I was 1970. I was about 10.
Okay.
So I was like in the 5th grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, and that was my first introduction to hearing anything that was hearing go-go. And I first heard it on the radio. It was Trouble Funk, E-flat boogie. And then it was Chuck Brown, go-go swings. You know what I'm saying? So it caught me. That's when I started loving it, loving the sound. So going to school, of course, we was in elementary school, and we used to try to emulate the sound by banging on the desk and singing what we heard. And that's when I began to love it, in the class when the teacher leaves, and we just started picking up our pencils and hitting on the desk. And so, I was going to the rec, Emory Elementary School. That's Langley Rec. That's off of Lincoln Road. And everything was connected, like Emory Elementary, Langley Junior High, and McKinley Tech. That's kind of all in one little area. So, coming to the rec one Saturday, I saw the drummer setting up, and they just started. So I asked the guy what's the name of the band, and he said Peacemakers. And that was my first introduction of just listening to a band, live in person. So I was around, 10 years old, 9, 10. And I just sat there through the whole ordeal and just listened to them. And I fell in love after that. I want to, through sports and all that stuff. I played football, basketball, but always had the love for the go-go thing, man. And through junior high and high school, I was always trying to put together a group or a band. I've always was the leader. Hey, you play this, you play that. I'm gonna do this. I tried the drums, roll the toms. I was on the mic, the whole thing, and through junior high and high school, that's when I met Chucky Thompson. And Chucky was he was like a unicorn, bro. Like, he played everything. I ain't never seen nobody play everything. He played he was in the Dunbar marching band as a saxophone. He was played the guitar, played the drums, so I used to go down his basement. He used to be on his little Casio keyboard, just playing stuff and just then he produced and started, making beats and selling beats for $25, $50. And man, that was my guy. Every time I wanted to really, learn more about music, I always, man, I'm coming down the basement. You know what I'm saying? So
no better person. Somebody who play all the instruments. Was this before because he on Go Live playing smacking with Chuck, right?
This was before that. Yeah.
Wow.
This was way before that. I mean, because he played with, he played a little bit with Petworth. He played with Air Raid. He sat in for Rare Essence. That was, I used to go to the shows with him and just sit there and watch. So I didn't even know he, played the congos, but when I saw him with Chuck, I said, "What?"
Right.
Man did everything. So that was my ace, my great friend. Always, always talk to him about music. And then when I first seen Backyard, I called Chucky. I said, "Man, it's these cats uptown that sound like Junkyard." And he was like, I said, "Man, they cranking like, He was like, "For real?" I said, "Man, let me go over there. I'm gonna find out who's their manager, and I want to help them, because we always was into helping, kids and stuff like that." So I was like, "Man," So I went to the band afterwards. They was on buckets, and I say, "Man, we our manager." And they it was this lady named Gwen. She worked at the Giant on 14th Street. Right now, it's the fire department or something up there. Of course, it's different, but back then, I was like 87. That was right after my high school year. That was right after I graduated. So 87, I'm 18, they 12 and 13. I'm like, man, I gotta help. You know what I'm saying? Like, because me and Chucky always was down the basement trying to put together our little, we was always making up stuff and trying to make our own little group. So and when I saw them, I said, man. So when I approached them, I was like, hey, I know some people that can probably, help y'all progress with the music, learn more about the keyboard and learn more about it. I said I had a couple of cats, one guy named Chris, we called him Little Chris, and the other guy was Philip, and Phil, Chris, and Chucky. And, of course, they didn't know nothing about Chucky. So Chucky was like, man, bring him down the basement. So I asked the lady, I said, could I, she was like, yeah, you can come and help. So I just started helping. I said, man, I want y'all to meet a couple of guys that can help with the production, with learning how to play music. And I took them down Chucky basement. Chucky said, wow, it was crazy. So then me and Chucky always had a thing with, making them better. So we was like, man, we're going to start grooming them. So that's all. I was just helping her. And the guy started getting attached to me. And he started, thanking me for, just, hey, being around, helping them and stuff like that. And I was just like, so once they, one show, I was helping, and then Gwen didn't show up. So they told me to go collect the money. So I was just helping. I was just like, man, they was like, Coop, we want you to be the manager. And I was like, okay, all right, that's cool. And so they told Gwen, and Gwen understood. I guess she was like, she was like, that it kind of eased her up a little bit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, somebody else got time to help these kids. And I just jumped in, started helping, man. And I always looked up to, who they looked up to. They looked up to Junkyard. I looked up to Mo Shorter. And saw how he structured it. I looked up to all of the bands before me on how they structure. I said, well, if I'm going to start helping these cats, I got to give them some type of structure. You know what I'm saying? So I said, hey, if we gonna be we're gonna set our own type of image, and we're gonna try to set ourselves apart, let's get some real instruments. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because we was the little junkyard band. You know what I'm saying? And everybody back then was a little junkyard band back in the day. Everybody played on buckets. I was like, well, if we gonna be backyard, let's get some real instruments. So I started, getting them some real instruments, and had a lot of help along the way, man.
Can I ask? So was G there the whole time? Seemed like G
Yeah,
was old.
This is G's band.
Right.
But when I first got there, I didn't see G. I think he was, he was down the road somewhere. So when I started helping them, I also was managing People's Drug, which is CVS right now. So I could help everybody get jobs and stuff like that. So when they told me about G, I first met him. He came home. He came straight to the drugstore. He say, "Hey, what's up?" You know what I'm saying? Hey, I heard you. And it's his band. It's always been his band.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I was just there to help. But he liked the structure. He was like, "Yeah, I see what you're doing, man, and let's make this thing happen." And he just gave me the keys and like, "Man, let's run, let's go with it." You know what I'm saying? So when G came home, man, it was like, I set a couple of rules. And I started being sergeant at arms, like, look, this gonna go this way, it's gonna go that way. And they fell in line, man. And it's been a blessing, the whole ride, you know what I'm saying? Of course you had your ups and downs, but it's been the structure that we built together was crazy. And the hard work and rehearsals and come along, picking up, great musicians like Hot Sauce and Buggy. We got those two. It really solidified. We always had cranking musicians, but it took an extra little, extra little push that and with Chucky helping, structuring the sets and stuff, it went crazy, man. It was a match made in heaven, getting Buggy and Sauce. So, and Ging has always wanted Buggy, so it's always like I'm looking for Buggy.
Right.
Yeah. Sauce came from around Chucky way, because Chucky hit me. He was like, "Man, what'd you think about Lil Hot Sauce? Man, if he get on them congos with backyard, man, that'd be crazy." So we, Hot Sauce was sorted out, like by Petworth, AMF, and like he was sorted out on the big bands and back then. And and when he heard backyard, he was like, he felt the same way. He was like, "Man, all right, Sauce just wanted to be." And when he came, that was a number one draft pick. He just fell in place, man. I wanna do this before we move. I want to shout out the original backyard. I wanted to shout out the originals, and if I missed it, charge it to my old age. But Tank, Rondell, Billy, G Love, E Dub, EB, Los, Black, Hook, Taiwan, uh, uh, um, I said G Love, um, Alvin, um, uh, um, and Goldie, um, um, and if I missed anybody, I love y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Just through the thick and thin, man. Those guys was definitely that's my heart. That's my love. Them guys at first, when I first seen them, they pulled me into that world. Yep.
You said Rondell? Was that like one of the first
Rondell R?
Not Vondale.
not Rondell. No, Rondell. He was a drummer. No, I don't know.
Way back, I met him up there across from the Black Hole. I was up there with UCB, but he lived right there. And I asked Bud, remember them? I think they practiced there at his house for a couple of weeks. He was supposed to be the drummer. He never made it out the basement. So I wasn't sure if that was, if I was confusing the name. But yeah, man, it's a hell of a legacy there. I like the part you told me about treat him like a prostitute. When you said Backyard was basically a combination of Junkyard and Essence. Of course, Backyard, Junkyard, the yard party. They always had the pockets and like the feel. Maybe even I know it was Chucky's help, but I always felt an uptown thing. Even though Essence is from Southeast, my cousins uptown always listen to Essence, so I always associated them with uptown. And so when I heard Back, kind of had a similar sound. But when you said that made sense. And these were the two bands that emulate at the time. But you said about treated like a prostitute, and can you tell that story? Because that's a lot of people would probably
So they looked up to Junkyard, right? Okay. Chucky. So most of their cadences and most of their beats, when Junkyard used to do Treat Her Like a Prostitute, of course, I don't know the words because I'm an older guy, but for the old Junkyard fans, y'all know, bum 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 dun dun bum 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 bum. That right there was, they couldn't help that was the most crankinest thing that Backyard was playing back then. Like they used to play that so hard. So then when, amongst other things. But when Chucky came around, he kind of taught him how to groove like Rare Essence with the samples and y'all, crashing on the one, just understanding, how to play in a pocket, how to play in a socket. And they just blended that shit together like, the dope jams. And so they mixed the Treat Her Like a Prostitute, dove into the dope jam, like, when Donnell from RE, that became their staple.
Work the Walls beat, right?
So it's like it's pretty much Work the Walls. Work the Walls was really like the one of the beats that really drove Backyard into creating all these other beats. You know what I'm saying? And Rare Essence cadences. So you headed for the border, search and quarters, all that stuff, all those cadences, man, they just got blended. And if, Junkyard and Rare Essence had a baby, it was Backyard, bro. Like, and it wasn't no secret. It was just like, we're going to blend this in and create a particular sound. We might take a bass line from one song and take the keyboard parts from another and create our own. So that became so year after year it was a new dope jam. You know what I'm saying? So that was our recipe, and we took those and blended it together. You know what I'm saying? That junk, and you can't go wrong. You got the two of the greatest bands in history, man. That's just like taking a Allen Iverson crossover and doing a fadeaway Kobe and dunking like Jordan. Man, you can't go wrong with that mix.
Yeah, they blended the best things, and so the dope jam with the clap, right, which kind of was doing, but they took that and revolutionized go-go. It's not a band that came out like after like maybe the June about 95, or that's not doing that even to this day. Somewhere in the set that which became the bounce, but I'm talking about just tap, boom, tap, tap, boom, boom, tap. It just changed the game with that, and that's something to be proud of, man. That was very innovative.
We just extended it. Yeah, we definitely extended it. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was definitely. Yep.
it was the time. I remember my first tape. It's like 91. It was a Kilimanjaro joint. I like toast. I like humming. All that on there. Fried chicken or Popeye's chicken?
No, Popeye's chicken. With the biscuits and the jelly in the middle.
Yeah,
that was one of the crankingest beats. Man, Sauce did that, man, and Sauce did that beat, man. I was like, man, and Sauce been always a student of Jungle Boogie and Mickey Mixed. He's so crafty, man, that it was like it was just a match that was crazy, man. I used to, Saul when Sauce was 13. 12 and 13, I'm listening to him. He got me on the phone all day. Of course I'm older, but right. my man Chris was like, man, listen to youngin, man. He was like 13, 14, man, just playing like I couldn't even understand it. I was like, how did they where you come from? And right. I met him like a year later, maybe at 15, 16, maybe 17. I don't know, but he was young. And it was incredible, and just to see him and Buggy, that's 30 years right there. Now it's they found it, man, and I'm so proud.
They don't know better.
Yeah.
That time they got in is just the jail. The synergy is crazy, and then you add Gingers with that distinctive voice, remember the first hand, like, who is this dude? You know what I mean? Right. Not the distinctive look and height and personality, right? So that was just, it was just a perfect combination. But it's just to hear the backstory. I never knew the Chucky's involvement, and I knew your history with even stuff together before that. Like you said, as a youngin', you were kind of had these visions and seeing stuff and trying to do that. But we were talking one day, and you would talk about Butch, unless you got something to say, and how Butch brought y'all to Maryland, and how long it took to make money.
Yeah, Butch was very instrumental. Because we was trying to figure out, we had built a strong Uptown following, we had built a strong Uptown thing, and it was like, okay, how we gonna get to the Maryland side? How we gonna get to the VA side? So I reached out to Butch because he had a battle of the bands. So I just wanted to be a part of the battle just to get some notoriety. Not really thinking we was gonna win, but I want to get out Maryland.
Right.
And seen him one day and talked to him, and he put us in the battle, and we won. I was like, because he let the people vote that one time. We won. I was like, damn. He was like, yeah, I'm going to start putting you Bammers out here. I'm going to see. Man, Butch brought us out Maryland, man. That was the best thing that ever could happen, Joe, because we didn't know how to get out there.
Okay.
We didn't know how to get out there, man. So, man, Butch definitely, man, no matter what, you know what I'm saying, like Icy Ice, man, they was very instrumental on taking us to another, putting us in we ain't know nothing about Winchester, and we ain't know nothing about them counties and Fredericksburg and Frederick. Yeah, man, we ain't know nothing about Leesburg. We ain't know nothing about Evans Grill, bro. We didn't know nothing about Evans Grill. I wanted to know how do we get out here. Wilmer's Park, man, yo. Man, I'm telling you, man, Butch, man, Butch. Yeah, that was like, they was very instrumental in pushing us out.
But you also was talking about even like the payment, because a lot of people think music. I know I did when I was young. You think, all right, I'm doing music, I'm supposed to make all this money, and it's like
right.
Many times are different, but it's always a gestation period, incubation period, where you kind of got to build your name and build your value to build your crowd to get the money. So you was telling me about that, and it was like, wow, how long it took, and how y'all was making 150 or something, 140 and then it jumps up.
No, man, trying to do our own parties at number 10 girls and boys and girls club and the Lapina, and you getting just enough to buy sticks and just enough to just replenish in instruments, and Backyard didn't get paid for the first 7 years.
Wow.
Like the only thing that the only thing that, and I'm thinking like 7 years, it's like they would only pay us $150 just to pay our sound man. And that meant a lot.
Right.
Yeah. That meant a lot because we wanted to have the best sound, you know what I'm saying? So even with Chucky introducing me to Big Al, and that's when I first started knowing, who these mix guys was. And they came around, they was very important. So before I can even charge, I found my value when I did my own shows. So like I do a show like me and Walk Jam. Shout out to Walk Jam. Walk Jam is the one that him and Ging, he the one that named Backyard. Yeah, him and Ging was, they grew up. They came up, and Walk used to let Genghis and them practice in his basement. And and Walk Jam was very instrumental in that. And then, of course, he had his own camp, Northwest Youngins. So, but they came up and they became friendly rivals per se. But so Walk Jam, he'd say, let's do the Lapina. Let's do the Lapina. And me not knowing what to charge for Backyard, at the end of the day, after the expenses, I might get $500. Walk Jam get $500. So I was like, damn, okay, that's good. We made $500. Right. So we did that a couple of times, and the fee and the money just kept going up. Oh, we made $1,000 this time. So when a promoter came and called me, how much you charge? I might say $500, right, because I knew at least I was worth the $500. Right. Not making up a number, but I knew that if they hired me, I can really generate my $500 after the expense. So that's how I learned my value. And of course it went up and went up, but just getting in bed with a, pause, but just doing a show with somebody else helped me find out, our value. And
fair market value.
That's how it. But the first 7 years. Yeah, the first 7 years, man, when the sound man was getting paid, it wasn't. It was trying to buy new instruments, and once I started really making a few dollars, then I was able to buy a complete drum set and complete, because I was even renting the back line from Dollar Bill, Go-Go Billy. Go-Go Billy was I looked up to him coming up, and he came up, man, and I met him through Chucky. That's when they was playing with Petworth together. And Dollar Bill been my brother from day one. I used to rent the back line. He used to do the back line for us. He said, man, right. So, yeah.
I mean, you had something else? I'm just trying to, it was little points I did want to get to.
No, go ahead.
We was talking about getting paid, so it was a good segue, right? Real niggas. So this is about 94, right?
Right.
The album,
Real Niggas, yep. 94, 93, 94, 94, yep.
Done with Charlie. So, because, I hear a lot of rumblings in the street about, Charlie, oh, you already know this story. But how was it working back then? We was in-house, so of course, I mean, we still had to pay the damn, y'all got a bill over here. And they'd be like, nigga, we your kids. But how did that situation, like for the Real Niggas, work? How did that collaboration work?
So us not knowing about the business early on, just going in there, doing a CD or a cassette, which, a record, and, hoping to make some money. But so that's the first thing. We didn't know about the production costs, or we ain't know nothing about the studio time. One day, man, it took us like, we had a studio session. Normally studio sessions like maybe 4 hours, 5 hours. Man, we was in that joint about 12 hours. We just laughing, giggling. We don't know that's on the clock.
Right.
But we didn't know none of that. So
this was the Central Avenue joint, right? Off East Hampton Boulevard.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, right. So y'all come to him, like, you trying to record, or he was like, man, y'all should come record something.
Yeah. So
I'm wondering.
Huh?
Who came to who? Like, y'all knew he had the facilities. Was y'all saying, man, we trying to record, or was he trying to like come record? Because he definitely knew the business. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to see.
Yeah. He knew the business. I can't even remember whether we went to him or he came to us. I knew well, he had to come to us, because I don't remember like really, knowing who to go to in that time. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really knowing his background and stuff like that. I was just learning who he was, and let's go. You know what I'm saying? And I think Genghis was pretty much wanted to really, we wanted to put out a record, put out something. So it was a combination of him wanting to do it, Charlie approaching, but we just still don't know the business. You know what I'm saying? That's just jumping. I'm being real. We got in there, and even when we went to Rio, we still ain't really. We were just trying to put some records in the store, and and hoping to make some money. Really didn't know the business, didn't know the point system, didn't know about publishing. We just wanted to make some music, put it out on the street, and give it to the DJs. You know what I'm saying? So, understanding it now, of course, you do it differently, but and then wondering, not knowing how many units you sold. You know what I'm saying? Was it selling, or not knowing none of that. We might go in a record store and don't see none of our product in there, or go in there and see some product, then go in there and we ain't got none. So you always heard the rumblings of it sold out, or you don't know how many units was distributed or copy made, or you always hear, it might be.
No, you didn't know. We didn't know that we could go audit them books. We could get that representation and say, show us the records, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So
what Liaison doing, they could, so the same thing go up the chain.
Right.
So that's music. That's the music.
It go, and I think after a while it kind of went that way as far as Liaison. So somebody was like, man, they selling y'all stuff overseas. Like, how could we find out? You know what I'm saying? So we accepted whatever check came our way, whether it was $100, $1,200. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, even with Rio, what came across my desk was, the guy started asking, hey, are we making money? And I was like, yeah, Rio give me a check here, there, bop, 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 every 3 months or once a month. And and I explained to my guys, how can we really divide this $200 check, or how many? Because we always had something. I needed to buy equipment, or I needed to pay for. It was always I needed to help pay my payroll with whatever I got. So it wasn't it wasn't set up. If I had a chance to do it again, I would set it up a lot better now. But back then it was just like, man, I got this $1,200. I'm behind in my payroll. This is going to payroll. Or, man, we need a new drum set. Drum set costs $3,500. man, I got to pay. You know what I'm saying? So it was more so then. It was more so for the um. It was just, it was investing in yourself. You know what I'm saying? But as the guys got older, they wanted to, hey man,
take it home.
It was short lived. Yeah, it was short. It was short lived. It's like you know, and we don't get what it wasn't no years and years and years and years of checks. It was shit, good year maybe. You know what I'm saying? And and going through the ups and downs, I got to make hard decisions for the band. So, yeah. But like you said, I didn't know, the audit. I didn't know none of that shit, man. I was like, man, as long as the DJs got it, Tigger playing it on the radio. You know what I'm saying?
And y'all was building at the whole time. So
yeah, we was getting booked. I ain't had time to be. I was like, man, all right. Rio called me. Hey, I got $900 check. Oh, okay, all right, boom. Damn, we short on payroll. I got them. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't, then once the guys start, hey man, are we getting any? And I try to be as transparent as I can, bro, with anything. I just, I invested a lot of time. I invested money and didn't care about my return. Right. I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? I've always been that way. I cared about having a solid unit that can trust everybody. Of course, once they get older, they got having kids. Their significant other gonna be like, hey man, what you doing? Like, what's going? So it's always that's the beauty of growing and knowing. Back then, man, we was running so fast, bro.
Right.
It wasn't even like I get a chunk of money. We renting a limo bus. Hey, it was almost like a street flip, nigga. We going to Atlantic City. And it was like it was coming so fast, bro. And we was having fun. Getting buses, right. We on a bus, and we in the parking lot of RFK. We pulling up in a bus, like nigga, we here. You know what I'm saying? We the go Wu-Tang Onyx crew. Right, so it was fun, bro. It was fun, but yeah, you get now we more conscious about learning the music. And it was just back then it was like everything happened so fast. It was coming so fast, and just dealing with everyday life. Niggas got bills, and Coop, I need to get this, and boom, 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 I'm like, all right, bet. It was that shit was moving. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, trying to get some structure, and the one thing I can say we did have was we was together as a unit, like a real brotherhood. Like we like before anything, we ain't had we had rules, we was like a mob out of the mafia. You know what I'm saying? Like we was like real like close knit. We cared about each other kids. We cared about each other families. That was more important than the band. You know what I'm saying? So nothing can never come between us. It did end for me years. But it's still. They know my heart. They know what it is. You know what I'm saying?
And I felt that loyalty and that brotherhood coming in. I don't know. I know we had seen each other before here. Probably spoke, but. Bug set me down. You had the black hole outside. He told me, man, just tell Coop. I'm like, man, I'm not trying to, I know him. I said, how Bug, he'd go play in church. He's like, man, just tell him. And, and I walked up. He was like, man, all right, it's going to be $80 or whatever. Just go in there and set up. And that's our first time, kind of talking. And I did it a couple times. Then I think Stomp kind of did it. But I was talking to my boy the other day. And it was just like, man, Coop, man, good dude. Coop always been a good dude. And it's like, yeah, I remember when you was with back, I could get in, and I don't come to get in free all the time. But I know if we there, and I gotta say, man, call Coop. If we get a discount or something, you always was gonna show love, right? But my boy came. His name, he used to play with bands. He played keys and shit. Him and white dude named Ghost. They used to rap and stuff, kind of producing, and you probably know him if you see him. But anyway, he told Ghost, man, don't come in this joint with your EB on. So Ghost comes in there and checks his bag, right? Of course, that joint gone. And they came to you and said, Coop, man, my coat. They said you gave him the money for the coat. I said, man, look at that. So that just has a lot to do. I don't know if you remember that character and that integrity, and like you said, that loyalty and that brotherhood, because people can say what they want.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's a lot going on, trying to take care of everything, and you learning on the job.
Yeah.
You know, you ain't worked in no big label and no firm that that does this on a high level. So I don't give a fuck what they say.
Yeah,
man.
No,
when I heard that, I was like, that's
yeah. And I've always felt that about anybody that ever came to our show. You know, we built relationships, man, and relationships is very important to me. Like, even, you know, somebody might be their last. The one of the worst things is having somebody come and celebrate with you and then don't make it home, bro.
Man,
they came to celebrate with you and don't make it home, man. I hated fights. I hated shootings. I hated all of that, and I cared about, you know, and because somebody say, "Damn, man, somebody got shot," and I'd be so mad, bro. I'd be so mad. It's like my world ended, and it was like, and I felt like, so like when people I used to recognize fights, and I know the two crews. Y'all can't come next week. Y'all not. First of all, you jeopardizing your own life, and I'm not gonna be a part of it. And I'm gonna take this away from you. I'm not. No. You love to come see the band, man. I'm gonna wait till it's time for me to. When it calmed down, and that's when you know. So they used to try to seep in like 2 at a time, 3 at a. I'm like, nah, give them their money back, bro. Nah, y'all got to calm down. You know what I'm saying? I did that with the girls. I did that with the guys. And some things you can't catch. You know what I'm saying? I did it with Game. You know what I'm saying? Like, Game. Yo, you
hot.
Life, you got to calm down, bro. Yeah, you gotta, you know, and I know you love the street, you love the, you know, you protecting your man, but I was so worried about him, you know. I had to punish him like a father. Like, nah, you gotta sit for a couple of months. I sat him for a whole summer one time. I was like, man, nah. Maybe you gonna want this music, or you or you want the street.
Right.
And he sat there, he understood it. Cause it was like, man, you know, I'm tired of seeing you get shot, bro.
Right.
I'm tired of seeing you get shot. And for some reason, it's like, you know, you gotta have some type of structure, man. Some type of structure and some type of want in your life, something to strive.
Yeah.
Your kids, your mom, something. This music, you love this music that much. All right, you know, when the street calm down, then that's when that's when I know you. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I had to do that, man. That's his band, but he understood it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's dangerous for the whole situation. Like you said, the family that's coming, the patrons, the band, like we seen it, right? It could come right to the stage. Yeah. And so that's good, man. And I'm sure he's appreciative because, you know, that helped him in his life. I mean, I hear him talking in interviews about different people, but I'm pretty sure you were one of the biggest voices because just like a kid, now you take that Wi-Fi, you know, you take what a kid need or want the most, and, you know, that's this that can straighten them up. So that's beautiful, man. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. No, I don't worry about me being in interviews. Everybody know. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? No matter If you mention my name or you don't, everybody know. This whole city know. I bleed backyard. You know what I'm saying? Like I bled every soul in that band. It was blood in, blood out. G, Sauce, Buggy, Wentz, everybody in that band, yo. They know. It ain't no man, Coop didn't. Nah. I did. And it's the impact was noted, and the impact was definitely impactful.
And still long lasting.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, long lasting. Yeah, they doing a hell of a job, man. They doing a hell of a job, man. Keeping that thing going, man. I'm proud of them. Every time I get a chance, you know, me and G talk. You know, keep doing your thing. We talk about life. We don't talk about the music a lot. We just talk about life, man, and just staying focused. You know what I'm saying? So after them, I was like, man, I'm done. I don't feel like, man, I did my little 25, 30 years, man. I was burnt out. And I said I wasn't, you know, so other groups was calling me. And I was like, man, I don't really, you know, I don't mind consulting. I don't mind talking to people, telling them what I think. And I told myself that if I really came back to something, that it had to be impactful. Because we'll be starting over. And that's a drag, you know what I'm saying? I got sick. I was worn out. Went bankrupt trying to survive that, you know what I'm saying? Trying to, you know, borrow money, gotta pay people back. And I just hated the whole Coop stealing. Stealing what? I'm broke.
Right.
I bust my ass and I'm broke. What you mean? Like, so when the ups and downs of income start coming in, I gotta pay niggas back. Like, yo, you know, niggas wanted to see me win. And anybody tell you, they wanted to see me win. Cause I've been a good motherfucker all the whole time. So it's, you know, so I'm going through that. I don't feel like going through it no more. So I'm like, I'm chilling. If I had to come back, it had to be a Japanese. Now, don't get this wrong, but it had to be something impactful, like a Japanese 17-year-old play guitar and piano and could sing like Lauryn Hill.
That sound like a child.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, something that's going to turn a head. Like something that's going to turn a head, bro. Like I'm not, you know. So I come up again when I sing Top 5. Rico, the bass player for RNS, he was managing Top 5.
Oh, okay.
And he'd call me for consulting. I was like, man, he said, Coop, I want you to hear something, man. Tell me what you think. Man, I heard the music. I said, man, this ain't no band from here. Right. I said, this ain't, he said, I said, this real? He was like, yeah, Coop, I want you to see him. So I was consulting Rico for about a month before I even seen him. He asked me what I think, and I would, you know, try to tell him little stuff about, you know, how to really promote him. But he had it, bro. And I went and saw them for their they had a like their first gig. They had a showcase, and I went. And I was amazed. So I said, man, whatever you need, I help. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of formulated this management thing. You know, me and we talked to she was she came with transportation ideas, and you know, so it was pretty much us three just trying to build something, and that was short lived because I'm a team player, so I'm not trying to take over. I just want to help. So it was Rico wanted. I guess Rico. I don't know his story, but it just he had moved, and then he was kind of trying to put his own situation back together. So he just left. He left me with it. I was like, man. So I talked to Ant. I was like, man, hey, you need some help? I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's all love. You know, I talked to Sheed a lot. You know what I'm saying? He give us, love. Talk to Rico, and I just been here. This about 8 years now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And they just been, and it's one of the most creative youngest I ever seen in my life. So I was like, man, you do this, you do that, you do this, you do that. Man, listen, man. And I don't have to come in here and, because with backyard, I was really I was really into rehearsals. I was really into, making sure these grooves was hard, making sure, because after Chucky went to Puffy, I was in the middle of the rehearsals. Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? G making up signals, and I'm structuring, just some of the, not the music director, some sort, but yeah, some sort. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
hey, let's get disciplined. So I was more so in charge of those type of things, and then with G, I need you to make a signal for this.
Right.
And Buggy and Saul started making signals, so it just became a system. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I was really involved with a lot of the music stuff. You know what I'm saying? Once he came and started like, hey man, I got ideas. Lisette came in, she brought her ideas, and it just started flowing. I started being, because Ging started, he was at the radio. He said, man, this is the hottest thing. And then everybody was trying to, how bands get. Hey, let's play this, let's play that, let's play this, let's play that. So I was kind of like the coach that's going to say, okay, well, let's try this and let's try that. Let's
Right.
try this and let's try that, to try to give everybody some
Right.
playtime. You know what I'm saying? Because you got talented people up front. Everybody wants some air. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants some airtime. So
Yeah. The
just
mediator.
balancing in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was balancing it. Yeah, and so yeah, man. Just when I ain't had to do that with Ant. He already had it, man. Listen, just sit back, relax. I said, all right, cool. So yeah. So even with Ant, um, I try not to push too much of my ideas on him because I appreciate and I respect his, number one. Because that can kind of confuse an artist. Let the artist be free. Let them feel good about what they doing. You know what I'm saying? Not always, hey man, you should do this or you should do that. Man, no, I sat back and learned him. And he's been like, it's been easy for me on that end. So I just wait till he asks me what I think. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So if he don't ask, I know he understand what he's doing. So every now and then he be like, man, what you think? And I'll be like, I give my 2 cents. But it's
Right.
been a
Right.
it's been a it's been a it's been a blast, working with this guy. And Top Five is definitely seeing, we doing some things in the city. It's hard to be an R&B band trying to be trying to muster into a go-go city.
Yeah.
And so we've done some things and changed some thoughts of people. And hey man, I think I like this type of setting. Sit down, eat, the dinner style party type of setting. You know what I'm saying? Some of the promoters put me in rough spots at times, but Ant still pulled through. He'll pull through. I'd be like, man, hey man, these bands gonna come out our neck because they already, they thinking like these 5 niggas gonna do to us. We
Right.
12 deep.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then Anna hit him with the boom, bam, boom, boom, and then you'd be like, God damn, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. I didn't know that, and he ceased to amaze me, man. Gang love him. Genghis love him. Wincy love him. I had Wincy. We did a live virtual with Wink. They done came past, Gang. They done came past Ant birthday a couple of times. Got on stage. They respect Shorty, man. They love him, and Ant always looked up to them. That
Okay.
was his thing about me. He was like, well, shit. If I really wanted a manager, you the perfect one. I followed y'all. He followed Backyard, so it was a perfect match for him. And you know, we've learned each other, and he's seen, and I just been transparent to him, like, hey man, this is how I want to do the business. I want you to own everything. I want you to do it the way you want to do it. I want you to, I just want to bring you opportunity after opportunity. I don't deal with the money. He's a great financial guy. I don't deal with none of that. I just be like, man, listen, this is what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about right here, because I can go out and get some work. You know what I'm saying? He gives me the tools. Sometimes I push the button a little faster than he wanted, but that's just me. I be anxious about showing people what we got. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's my way of getting the look that I want. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Ant, I got this.
Sometimes we need a push. Sometimes we need it. So that works out well. Because he's an artist, more creative. Like you say, you're good with the finance, but sometimes you need that good cop, bad cop, that person around. That's going.
Oh yeah. I done flicked off to the bad cop a few times. He not gonna take the bad cop. He definitely want me to be the bad cop. And I built relationships enough in the city to be able to grab some opportunity, man. And they know my heart. They know my loyalty to this game, man. And anybody that came across my path, I've been a fair, humble servant of this music.
Yeah, man. And that last project, I mean, Top 5 always sound awesome. I think I just came from Atlanta. Y'all was coming to Swag. That's when I first saw y'all. But it's always been like the concert style. It just reminded me of Mint Condition, which is, from DC. Right. I know the drummers, like, we love Mint Condition with Stokely, the way how they do it. Just this pocket and no music, but it got a pocket. But just the concerts, dynamics, the bridges, the changes, the build-ups, the drop downs. But beat the two girls, it's two girls, right?
Now it's one.
It's just one. See,
yeah, so the video we had two different. The video was from two different shows.
Okay.
So it was two different BBJ shows. That was just because one time we had Chris and Kevin Ross, and then the other time we had Damo. Damo sang the whole show. So he just combined it, but all of it was from BBJ.
All of it was awesome. Like,
but there's a theater.
I thought it was the same girl or whatever, but the dynamics of her.
No, they both Chris, they both are amazing. So it's like, even with the musicians that he find, they all new to me. You know what I'm saying? Jay Rojas, Christian Bonds, Steve Johnson, Ant, you know what I'm saying? It's just we got a bass player from that we normally use from Baltimore, another guy named Steven Johnson, Isaac, you know what I'm saying? We had several bass players in and out, but man, they all are amazing, man. They Damo, the girl that comes in when Chris, came. I just they all got that theory. They all know that. And when you listen to them and they learning music, they come to rehearsal already knowing the whole song. They playing around, bro. Right. They like, man, I want to put this line right here. Okay, go. I'm learning new codes. I'm learning new 4/6s, and I'm learning the numbers. You know what I'm saying? They saying, hey, Chief, they saying numbers. I'm still on the E, the E's and the D's, and you know what I'm saying? They talking about 6, 4. Right, 1. The pinky. This, I'm like, God damn. So yeah, man, I've learned a lot, man, since even really getting into their world, man. Like it's a blessing. It's a blessing, and them, actually being Kevin Ross's band for some time, as much as they can, because Kevin Travel is his he got shows and tours, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes the schedule kind of get tight, but for the most part, Kevin been helping Top 5 too, because in the other cities, you know, he definitely top five. And even a couple of years ago, we was in Punta Cana, and Kevin opened up for Murray J, and Top 5 was backing Kevin, and you know, Kevin doing his thing. So this the backstory. So Murray J and her, I think it was her assistant or something, they in the dressing room saying, damn, Top 5 out there killing it. So they like, man, who playing for him? Because, you know, they know all the musicians, you know, through groups, different groups and stuff like that. So the girl was like, he keeps saying Top 5. So they checked us out on our Instagram. And called they called Ed and was like, hey, was this Top 5? He was like, yeah. Was y'all at the whatever it was called, the festival in Punta Cana? And I was like, yes, man. And you know, playing for Kevin. He was like, yes. And she was like, man, Murray absolutely love y'all. So just giving us our props and set up a meeting. They met, you know, him and Rojas went up New York, met Murray and sat down and was like, you know, hey, you know, y'all keep doing it. It was an inspirational, you know, if y'all keep doing y'all thing, you know what I'm saying? Right. Got my eye on y'all, you know what I'm saying? And it was you know, Ant felt so good because, you know, just sitting right there with the Queen, Joe. It's like, wow. You know, and all because of Kevin. You know what I'm saying? Those opportunities, and you never to eat. Any musician that's traveling, or whatever, you could be playing at home. Just kill it. Just make sure that just like anybody that's playing sports, just make it your best. You never know who's in the audience, man. I used to tell G that same thing. Like it could be one person. You remember the Backyard CD that Tigger used to use as his that solo? It was from the Met. Yeah, Tigger used to use as his backdrop back in the day on the radio. Oh, it was an old Met Backyard solo from the Met, and Tigger used to use that as his underbed, right? That was from a show that had one person in it.
Wow!
Like they played so hard. You remember that joint that when Bubba was playing?
Yeah, I got that tape.
Yeah, that is from the Met.
Yeah.
It was one person. It was one person in there the whole show.
Dang.
But that was one of the best. That was a iconic CD. You know what I'm saying? That ended up being like, man, I told him, I said, man, we're gonna play hard today. And we're gonna make sure this joint, we're gonna act like it's 10,000 people in here. Yeah. They played so hard, man. That joint got in rotation. That joint got in rotation, man. That joint was in rotation, and there was one person in the Met.
4695, I think. I got that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, yeah, that's amazing though. Like you said, to get that type of nod from, you know, that caliber of musician, and you know, then like you said, make you feel good, motivate you, keep you going. Those are the moments that keep you going. Let you on the right place. And you know, like you said, always just play hard, man. You never know who's watching, who's listening. I used to look up every Club U up there, Soul Patrol. Yeah. Man, be in that joint every week. I look up, this nigga here again. And that used to be cool. Yeah. What's up, G? You know, we playing R&B. We had 5 members at this time. We started with 5, but I didn't realize listening to that it was 5. I just thought the name was still Top 5. That's crazy. That 5 people.
Yeah, that was the key. Of course, at different times we've had more members. I think it got up to 8 at one time, but that was just trying to find the right core, the right artist. But it's always been a keyboard, bass guitar, lead guitar, and drummer.
Yeah.
That's the 4. And then the 5th was the artist. So then we went through, you know, the female artist, you know, she was always there. Christian was always there. Then you had other artists that decided to, like, they wanted to pursue their career as independent artists. So one moved to LA, one moved to Atlanta. Another one just started, doing, wanted to pursue their careers. And when Ant kept going through that, he decided I'm gonna come up front.
Yeah.
And just be the Michael Muse. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He said, I'm gonna learn how to. So during the pandemic, he started to learn how to write, and it was he dug he put his head in books and learned. And he could already produce, but then he started, he sat in with Donnell Floyd with Familiar Faces for about a year or so, and he learned some of the techniques from Donnell, and like, man, I can probably do this. And now he's working on his physique. He's looking like Tank and Trey Songz. I mean,
right.
He's looking good. He's looking good right now. Yeah.
I need
so
to
he's become the artist now. You know what I'm saying? So which is, this is his thing. This is
rightfully so.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Congratulations. Hats off to him. He's Sag, right? Ain't he Sagittarius?
Aries.
Oh yeah, Aries. Okay, that's like the other fire sign that's kind of
right. He Aries. Yep. April 13th.
Okay. Yep. Like the horns. That's tight though that he took that. He was in the back, and he saw the need, and he stepped into the plate to fulfill that, and he deserved that. You know what I mean? Staying the course.
He stood the course. It was his vision, so he wanted to see it through, and he's seeing some stuff. It ain't all easy, but it's definitely he's making strides, and he still got ideas. He's still coming to me. He said, "Coop, this don't work." He the type of dude that's going, if A don't work, let's try B. If B don't work, let's try C. This dude will go all the way to the end of the alphabet.
Right.
Like, I'd be like, bro, we done tried everything. Nah, it's something. It's something. You want Coop? Just we gotta go get it. We can't wait for it to come to us. So he kind of, and he know what to say to me sometimes. He's like, man. I'll be like, man, let me show this little nigga something. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, man, because I gotta hear it too. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I get a little frustrated in the process, and I need a little burn under my seat a little bit too to get up. You know what I'm saying? So, he definitely had me hunting. Yep.
Nice, man. So, what y'all got coming up?
Oh, okay. Well, let me go down. Let me take the biggest. This is because we got we got most of the shows are 8 week. Most of the repeated shows, like every first Wednesday we have the car seafood. Then we doing every other Sunday at this new place, Cedar Oasis. It's the old 1865. About to do Tuesdays at the House of Comedy and Jazz every other Tuesday. Some of the big stuff coming up is the Dinner on Blue, July 19th. We opening that, and thanks to Burgerzette and Janard Maserati for bringing us on that. The Miami Takeover weekend, thanks to Wiley K. That's going, and then some festivals and stuff. But you can always follow us because it's a lot of stuff. You can we gotta celebrate my 8-year with Top 5 at the Bethesda Blue. We're gonna do a second recording there, so that's gonna be a special night, Saturday, August 16th. So I'm a definitely we definitely pushing that. But yeah, man, just follow us on our IG, Top5DC, TOP, the number 5DC, and you will see all the upcoming stuff, man.
That was the one that's postponed, right? The one that's gonna be in August.
Right. It was supposed to have been the day.
Right. Yeah, boy. Them first 3 or 4 joints sound super sexy, man. I'm gonna have to come on out and get myself together. Them spots sound super sexy. God damn. Seafood joints and jazz and, you know, grown and sexy for real. Yes.
I can't even see myself now. Am I still on?
It froze up.
Huh?
It froze up. I can hear you, but the picture froze. But it's all good. I know, you know, you got stuff to do. That was good, man. We got to all the stuff I wanted to talk about. You know what I mean? Basically the backyard and top 5. And so I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you coming through. And once I start doing more, I'm gonna do the in-person joints too. So we'll reconvene. We'll circle back. But that was Terrence Cooper, y'all. Super Coop, legend in the game. OG put in a lot of work out here. You know what I mean? Help, like I said, build the backyard band to what they are today. Had a lot to do with coming in them early stages and offering guidance and blood, sweat, and tears to help them guys do some of the great things they doing now, even though he's not with them. He's a part of that legacy. And also now he's working with Top 5. Like you said, follow them, Top 5DC on Instagram and see where they at. Y'all got to check them out. They are awesome. Concert style, musicians are awesome. Vocals are awesome. It's impeccable, y'all. I ain't even gonna hold you. So make sure y'all go check them out. And appreciate everybody watching. Make sure y'all subscribe. Appreciate everybody that's hitting the Cash App, Super Chat, Chief and Go, man. You know what I'm saying? Keeping it cranking, go loops, keeping it cranking for the culture. That's it. That's all. I'm gone.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe. 95, I pledge allegiance to the crank. Oh, as long as I'm alive.
Chief and Go.